Hey everyone, I hope everything is going well with you. So in the third episode of the Flask series, I'm going to be focusing on starting the market webpage itself. So our website will be able to display some items that our customers could buy or sell them. Now I am not going to do this by just copying and pasting HTML code. Besides that, we are going to understand how we can send information from our Flask routes to our HTML template. So it is going to be very exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so now it makes sense to start working on some new Python code to deliver a new items page to our users. So this is why I will be starting to create here a new route and we will render a new HTML template. So let's go ahead and do this. So I will jump to a new line here and we will start creating a new route. So I will call the app route decorator here, and it quite makes sense to send our users to a URL that is looking like /market. So I will write it like this and I will continue on and create our function and we will name it market page, and currently we will receive nothing as parameters, and we will go ahead here and return render template, and we will send them to a new HTML file that is called market.html. Now I know that we did not create this yet, so let's go ahead and do this. So as you remember previously, we just went inside our templates directory and we created an HTML file, and we should name it market so this route could understand where we should send our users. So let's go ahead and name this market, and if you use PyCharm then you will receive this auto-generated HTML. Now, to make our lives easier a little bit, I'm going to copy everything from the home.html and I'm going to customize it a little bit so we can understand that we are inside the market page and not inside the home page. So I will go to our home page here and I will grab everything that is inside the home.html and I will paste this inside our market page, and let's make the font a little bit bigger here. Now, several changes that it might be a great idea to done here is for sure this title tag that is changing the tab name. So let's change this to market, and I will scroll down here. Let's minimize this navbar and we will change this homepage h1 tag to market page so we can understand where we are currently at. Now for myself here, the website is currently not running, so let's go ahead and complete the steps that we are required to run our website quickly. So set flask app equals to market.py, and we also have to set the flask underscore debug to 1, and now we are ready to go ahead and execute flask run. And as we have completed this, let's go to our web browser and try to navigate through the /market route that we have just created, and we can see that the results are quite great. So now we are ready to work on to see how we can send information to this HTML from our route. Now to do this, I am basically going to go back to my PyCharm and we are going to work on the route of market that we have created, and we will try to send some random data from this route to our HTML and see how we can access it. Now the way we can do this is as easy as going here and sending more arguments that we will be accessing by their keys. So let's go ahead and see an example for that. So let's write in here item underscore name equals to phone, and I will close the parameters here back again, and let's make this to be in the pip8 style. And then now the way that we can access this is by this key name item underscore name. Now it makes sense to go back to our market page now and see how we can see the value of the item name argument. So I will go to our market, and actually to access that information we have to start using some new web templating engine that is called Jinja template. Now, this might be sound weird what I'm saying now, but if you remember, when we went ahead and installed the Flask library, we kind of saw a lot of secondary libraries that the Flask library is required to have them. And one of those libraries are actually named Jinja. Now, as I said, Jinja is a special web templating syntax that we are able to access through HTML because it is specially designed for Python web frameworks. So to do this, I am going to go here and let's open here a new HTML tag. For example, a p tag, so it will be a new paragraph. And the way we can access this is by calling the variable syntax, and that will be by double curly brackets opening and closing like the following. Now, as I have set those curly brackets here, we are allowed to access the information that we have sent from our route. And as you remember, we have sent the key value of item underscore name. So if I was to go inside our curly brackets and type in here item underscore name, then we should see the value of this variable on our page. So to test this out, I will go to my web browser and refresh it, and then you can see that we see the value of the item underscore name. So this is a quite great achievement, and I hope that you understood all the process of how we can display information from our routes, because to be honest, when I saw the Jinja syntax first, I really was shocked and did not understand anything, but I hope that this was a clear explanation and that you understand correctly why we have to include Jinja syntax in our HTML templates. So I will go back to our HTML file here and continue from here. Okay, so as you see, I am back on my market.py file, and now we have to look forward to how we can display multiple items on our website. Now, to do this, we can basically change the value that we send to a list. Now, I already have some information that I already generated up, and this is basically a list of dictionaries. So we will be able to display better data on our website when it comes to displaying some random items. So to bring this code snippet that I already have generated up, let's go to my website again and navigate through the third part of this Flask series and bring this items list of dictionaries code snippet. Now, as you can see, we are only having a long list with 3 dictionaries here. So let's copy this up and paste this inside our market page. Now let's have a quick look in this long list here. Basically what we are having is 3 dictionaries that they are happen to have the same keys. So we have ID for this and that, and also the name key, and as well as barcode and a price. Now, once I have copied this out, it might be a better idea to change our sent information in this render template. And I will basically delete this item underscore name equals to phone. And I will change this up to items equals to items. So now we will be able to access this entire list of items with calling the variable of items, because this is what we have named over here. Now to test this out again, we can basically go to our market.html and change this to items. So if we save our file and refresh our website, then you can see that we see this exact dictionary, I mean the list of dictionaries over here. Now you can pay attention that this looks quite ugly. So to style this up, I am going to insert these values inside a nice designed bootstrap table. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so we will go back to our market.html file, and in here we will just delete this paragraph for now. And we have to use an HTML tag that is named table, and inside here I have to provide some information regarding to my table's rows and columns. And to save this work from us, I already have generated a table that is going to look quite nice, and we are going to add to it some extra information to design our rows and columns. So to bring this code snippet here, we will go to my website here, and we will bring this bootstrap table code snippet from the third part. So I will get this HTML code snippet, and here I will just replace this with those table tags. So if we copy this, then we can see that we have here the table tag again, but we have an attribute that we did not talk about it before. Basically, when you see the class attribute inside an HTML file, it basically refers to bootstrap classes that their main goal is to give a nicer design to your specific HTML templates. So for example, if we see a class that is named table hover, then we should see a special effect when we bring our mouse and hover inside our table. And if we see table dark, then you can probably understand that this table is going to be in dark design. So in here, we have our table head and table body. And as you can see, I already commented here that we have to create certain columns here. Now, since our dictionary includes some more than one key values, then it might be a great idea to create more columns to our table. So this is why I will go down here and I will start copying and pasting this code snippet 3 more times. And I will replace those by the values of the keys that we have inside our dictionaries. So if you remember, we had a dictionary with a key of name and we had an ID, so I did not touch this column at all. And I'm going to change this to barcode and I'm going to write here price as well. So as we have done that, the way that we can fill in rows to our table will be easily by going down to the table body and writing some extra information inside those table row tags. So TR is a shortened version of table row. Now, as you can see, we have here some more tag that is called table data, and this is basically a reference to the first column that you see here. So if we are happened to copy this out and paste this in, then since this is the second table data inside this table row, then this is going to be located right under the column of name. So this is why it is a great idea to change this to value for name. And I'm going to repeat this 2 more times. So this will be barcode and this will be price. Okay, so as we have done that, let's test the results inside our website. So I will go to my web browser and we will navigate through our market page and refresh that out. And you can see that we see here a nice table. And you can see that those are the headers, as you can pay attention that its color is a little bit more bold. And we can see that we have here information that is inside our table, so it is quite great achievement. Okay, so now that we have done this, we still don't display the real information that we have sent from our market page route. So let's bring up this for a second to remember this. So I will open back our PyCharm and I will go to market.py for a second. So if you remember, we sent this items list towards our market.html, but we did not display the actual values of those dictionaries that are inside the items list. So to do this, we have to iterate over this items list over here, and once we iterate over this list, then we have to access each of those keys in some way. So let's see how we can do this. Okay, so let's go back to our market.html. Well, I'm not going to touch the HTML code inside our table head because in table head we done a great job because we only want to display here the columns names, so I'm not going to touch it at all. So let's minimize the table head for a second. And now, as you paid attention, each of our TR tags are responsible to create a new row inside our table. So it might make sense to start to launch here a for loop and start iterating over our items. But how we are going to do this with the Jinja template? So if you remember, the Jinja template is that special template that allows us to access the information that arrives from the route. So I'm going to write here new Jinja syntax that we did not see. So besides doing curly brackets twice, I am going to replace the inner curly brackets with percentage signs. And what that means, it means that you are going to call a logic code. So if until now we were able to access variables that are arriving from Jinja syntax, This time, when you see the percentage signs, basically you can write a code that is quite looking like a Python code, but this time it is not going to be variable names and stuff like that. Besides, those are going to be if statements, for loops, and stuff related to actual logic. So in here, I can go with for item in items. Now the reason I write here items because this is accessible from the market route. And to close our for loop here, I will call those code blocks once again, and I will write here and for together combined. So this is the exact syntax of how you can bring in a for loop inside your HTML template. And now I'm going to cut this entire tr HTML block here, and I'm going to paste this inside this for loop that we have just created. So once we paste this in, let's organize the indentation for a second. Great. So now we should see this table row 3 times. And the reason we should see this 3 times because we have 3 dictionaries in our items list. So if we save this and go here and refresh that out, then this is the exact result that I was talking about. So again, the reason we see this 3 times because we have 3 dictionaries inside our items list. Okay, so our next problem is quite clear, and the problem is that we don't see the values yet, although we iterate over this items list. So to access each of the keys that are inside those dictionaries, we can basically go and open our PyCharm back and replace those strings here that are inside the HTML tags with the actual value. So to do this, I can basically delete this up and call the variable block again by typing in curly brackets twice, and I can basically type in here item.id. Now the ID is the key name of the dictionary and the item is the variable that I'm iterating on. So this is why I can access this item variable. And I can change all those 3 table datas here to the same as this one. So let's go ahead and do this. So I will replace this with item.name, and I will replace this with item.barcode, and I can replace this for sure with item.barcode, and we will close our curly brackets and create a space here. So sorry, this should be price. Okay, so we should change this to price. And now we can go to our HTML page again and refresh it. Then you can see the actual information that we meant to display from the real beginning. Okay, so this is great achievement. So if we are happened to add some more information inside our market.py, then this page is for sure going to be updated automatically. So one more final thing here to customize this page a little bit better. We can add here a $sign or something that the customer that uses this website could understand that we are referring to actual money. So we can basically go back here and add here the $sign and see the effect of that over here. Alright, so one more final thing that I'd like to do in this table is enabling our users the options of seeing more information regarding to a specific item and also the option of purchasing a specific item. Because we actually want to simulate a situation where we have items in market. So to do this, we can basically create one more column here and we can name it options, and we can add 2 more buttons in each of our item rows. So let's go ahead to PyCharm and do this. So I will open my PyCharm here and I will find the table that we have created. So as you remember, our columns are located inside an HTML tag that is called thead. So we will expand this back and we will add here one more column. So we will create a th tag and our scope will be COL, so this is a shortened version of column, and here we will add options. And so we added the column here, and now we have to add its value in each of our rows. So to do this, we can basically go here to our table body and find our for loop and add here one more TD tag, which is table data. And over here I will basically hit enter so we can add more HTML elements, and I will call the button element to display a nice looking button to show our users the options that he can do. So let's create here the button tag, and over here I want to customize this button a little bit, so I will call the class attribute, and inside the strings here I will specify the classes. So I will write in here several classes that I already know that they are going to customize this button a little bit better. So we will write here button like this, and we will also write button dash outline, and we will also write here button dash info. Now again, those classes are made for specialize our styling in each of our HTML tags. So let's go ahead and close our button tag, and you can see that we already have the closure for this button. And so now I want to write here a text like more info, and I want to scroll down a bit so you can see what I am doing here. And so now that we have completed this button, basically I want to repeat the same process to allowing our users to purchase that specific item. So it will be the button tag again, and this time our classes are going to be again to btn and button dash outline, and that time I will type in here button dash success. So the differences between button dash info to button dash success, the button info is going to fade into our button a more blue color, and the button success will fade in the green color. So when I go ahead and close those tags, I can basically write in here purchase this item. Now let's go ahead and test this out. So I will open my browser again, and I will refresh our page, and you can see that we received the options right here. So this is quite great. Now for sure, if I click on one of those buttons, nothing is going to happen because we did not configure the functionality behind those buttons, but we will do this in the future, so don't worry about it right now. Okay everyone, so I hope you liked this episode, and I hope that you understand everything clear. So if you have any questions about this episode, please consider commenting them out, and I will for sure try to respond as much as I can. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing and also hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you on my next episode.